Buyurum, and welcome to a little something different. Today I'm going to be bringing you my promotion winning tactic from the Serie C to the Serie B. It's similar, but it's different. It's a little bit different to, your standard run-of-the-mill. Not that much different, but, it's working for me. It's working wonders. I'm liking it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it like McDonald's. So without further ado, like I said, it's got me promotion. Granted, it was through the playoffs, but a win is a win and a promotion is a promotion. So here it is, the 4-2-3-1 narrow. I know most people, when they do the 4-2-3-1, they go with this and the insides and the blah, 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 blahs. I wanted to try a little bit more narrow as well, just because the working through the centre seems to be a lot more effective on this year's with still having the wing support provided from the fullback. So I'll start from the back and we'll kind of work out with the team. We've got your standard sweeper keeper there. Basically what I do is I try to focus on one of my better wing backs. So last season I had Ajapong. I'll bring it up now. Claude Ajapong, he was my right back. Had him on loan, tried signing him, it didn't work out. Yes, I'm still solid moving on. I had him, and you can see there him as a fullback, a wing back, on automatic. He's ticking every single box. He can go forward, he can come back, he's got the pace to do everything. So he's the ideal person there to have. When I compare him to what I've got now, it's not the most ideal thing, but the guy I've got there now is injured. Regardless, you want a kind of wing back who can do everything, go forward, get back, tackle, cross, everything that your wing back's going to be able to do. Your two centre backs, what I like to do is have one of them on cover and one of them just on your standard defensive role. The reason for the cover is I want him dropping back. I don't want him, kind of pushing forward any more than he needs to. And the main thing with this formation is you're going to be on the front foot. It's a lot more possession based. You're basically going to be putting the other team under the cosh. And the one downfall of this is obviously going to be being counter attacked. So if you're pushing everyone forward, you want to keep some players back, which is where that cover role comes in. The other one is a standard defensive role. I'll show you the two players that I've here. They're not the best in terms of the league that we're in, but we had limited funds, so we've had to do. To be fair, they look like pretty decent players. He's got a bit of pace on him, so he should be able to recover if and when he needs to get back. The other side, I play a fullback on automatic. So again, I'll just show you him. They're not the best players, but you can imagine they get the job done. If you've got people who are a lot better than these players that I've got here, you're just going to be kind of running riot. Again, you can adapt this again and play him as a wing back on automatic as well. Depends on your opposition. It completely depends on who you're playing. Kind of, you gauge it from there. I normally leave it as fullback on automatic, which is why I've got the overlap on the right hand side. I like to focus mainly on one side, and then if I see that's not kind of working, we chop and change, which is another thing you have to look out for just to see how the game's going. But that's how I set up the back line. Again, going back to being counter-attacked, I want the one player on centre mid defend. I feel like I tried the ball winning midfielder on support and defend, and I just feel like centre mid defend does the exact same thing but better. So centre mid on defend, and as well you can change it to, you can again adapt it to how the game's going. But centre mid defend, I've just highlighted there the kind of stats that you want. You can see everything. If it's above a 13 or a 12, the guy's going to be pretty amazing in that role. The main thing you want to look out for is obviously his tackling and his marking, because that's going to be pretty much his job, stopping counters, breaking up play, that kind of thing. Your deep line playmaker next to him, you want him on the support duty, or you can change him again down to defensive and it'll be more providing a little bit more cover if playing that stronger team. But I leave it on support, and he's the player you're basically going to ask to spray them balls about to your players up ahead. If you play him on a support, you know what to look out for, your passing, your vision, that kind of thing. So as long as you need that kind of strong base to your midfield. Once you've got that down, then so this is where the magic happens up here. These four roles, they work so so well. I didn't think it'd work as well as it does, but it really does. Attacking mid on support, we've got an advanced playmaker on attack, second striker on attack, and then we've got a complete forward. One of the main things that I've learned from this is reading the description. It works wonders, and I know it's the most ridiculous thing, but it really does work wonders. Just reading the actual duty itself. Attacking mid, he looks out for himself as well as looking for others. So if you're focusing more on the supporting role, he's going to look more for the others. And let's compare Balikwisha to the other three players. So he might not look all that stellar, but when I just highlight him for the role that he's playing, pretty much everything that's, highlighted, it's what, 11 and above. So he's not the worst player at it. And you'll see I've brought in someone else on loan for this season. And if I just highlight him, he'll probably be getting a little bit more starting. You can see he's no, that's the wrong player. Yeah. There we go, take 2. Here's another player that I've bought in for this season. You can see he's a lot more well-rounded, and he'll be a lot better than Balikwisha in that position. But I've just got a little bit of soft spot for Balikwisha, so he's starting there. But moving into the advanced playmaker role, we've got Maldini, and you can just see the stats highlighted. He's the exact player that you want in that role. So again, if you read the description here, he's going to drop a lot deeper down here. So he'll be kind of dropping next to Toscano down here, picking up the ball from him. Once you set him on the attacking duty, he's going to carry the ball a lot more. And then especially if you personalize his little, his attack instructions, then you can kind of tailor it more. But yeah, he'll drop a lot further down. And that's the same with the shadow striker. He's pretty much going to be the next one up from your next striker up here. He's still going to be dropping back a lot more. As well as that, he's going to be the one that's kind of carrying the ball as well as Maldini. So you're going to have 2 carriers with the ball, and then you're going to have your third attacking mid supporting, basically coming down the right-hand side, providing that width. And then we come to the striker role. We've got the complete forward, Colombo. There's not going to be a lot of players that you can find, especially in kind of the lower leagues, that are going to tick all the boxes. To be fair, Colombo doesn't, but in most of it, he does. And that's why, it's his preferred role, and I play him there, and it works. So I'll just show you last season. I brought him in January on loan, and he got 16 in 23, which is unbelievable. And these 2 players were pretty much the catalyst for us getting promoted. So the possession stats, again, like I mentioned, you want to play short. You can go even shorter, but I just prefer the shorter. When I started it, I had work ball into the box as well. I just felt like we were faffing about with it too much. We'd get to the edge of the box and we weren't doing anything with it or doing enough with it. So I took that off and I put shoot on sight on. This changed things massively. We just started scoring for fun after this got turned on, and I'll show you some of the results from last season. But again, now I've turned both of them off, and I want the players to kind of decide, what the kind of right thing to do in the position is. So whether they work into the box or they shoot on sight. So yeah, we want to play our defense as well. We want to do it extremely high tempo. So we want to play this, short and snappy, quick kind of football. But again, like I keep mentioning, you have to kind of gauge how the game is going. If it's not working, start lowering things down, going more direct. But you just need to have that kind of awareness and presence of mind to kind of see that. The attacking width, we just leave that, kind of fairly wide standard. And then in transition, I did have regroup on before, but it didn't really make sense to have regroup and counter on. So I just took that off. And then when we're out of position, we want to be that compact kind of team. So we want to be dropping our midfield back and forcing the opposition outside. So they're just basically swinging the crosses in, and our centre-backs have more than enough aerial prowess to deal with it. And then we also want to prevent the short goalkeeper distribution and pressing extremely urgently, which it just works. You need to be pressing in this kind of formation. But that's the formation I go with. That's worked for me. It got us promoted last season. Also, again, if you're seeing out a game, you can jump into this formation. If you're a viewer of the Unemployed to Untouchable series, you'll be very, very familiar with this. If you're not, what you're doing, go check it out, link down below. But yeah, you can jump into the Christmas tree formation. This just leaves, again, it shows up your midfield a lot. And if you want to be even more sure, you can drop another player back and go a lot more defensive. But again, this is when you want to see the game out. You just create that kind of compact unit. Now we've been promoted, we might possibly look to change this, but you know, we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping it can still do a job. I think it will. I hope it will. I'll show you this is the last season. So yeah, this is the last season. We started off really well. We got into a little bit of a rough patch here and there. It was when I was just tinkering with the formation. I didn't really, you know, kind of get scared and worried that it stopped working pretty much instantly. That was when I started changing with the work ball into the box, kind of shoot on sight tactic. And I think it was around January time after this Prato game. That's when we, you know, turned on shoot on sight, and you can see the goals just started. The goals started raining down, and we were dominant in all the games. So most of the games would be at like, you know, 50-60% possession, multiple goals a game, but the defense didn't suffer. And then we ended up kind of through, as you saw there. If you watched the Unemployed to Untouchable series, wink wink, nudge nudge, go check it out. We got promoted by beating Palermo. You can see how well the tactic worked, scoring an absolute abundance of goals, mainly thanks to the help that we got in January from Colombo and Maldini, who are just absolutely unbelievable. If you're in the lower leagues, don't neglect the loan system, please. It's an absolute godsend. But yeah, that's my promotion winning tactic that got us into the Serie B, and now it's going to be a bit of a slog. It's going to be a bit of a slog, but let's see what we can do with it. So I hope you've enjoyed my narrow 4-2-3-1 tactic. If you end up trying the formation, let me know how it works for you. If it works for you, you're welcome. First of all, but I hope it really does, because it's working an absolute wonder for me. But yeah, I'll see you on the next episode in a bit.